The Disaster Needs Analysis, or the DNA as we call it, is a desk-based study of what has happened in a disaster. The three key points about the DNA is the timeliness of the product. It comes out a few days after a disaster. Secondly, it's multi-sectoral, so we have a holistic analysis of the entire situation, not just one sector. And thirdly, that it's quite technical in nature. So it does go into details which will help you do your programming.
An unlock mission with DNA is a mission that is much better prepared because it has a broader perspective of the impact of the emergency and basically are able to answer this very essential questions of what has happened and how is it going to affect the population in the areas that they're living, both short-term and long-term.
The way the humanitarian sector is put together is a multitude of organizations working with different mandates, capacities, histories, constituencies, and it can at times be difficult for everybody to be on the same page, especially in the beginning of a disaster. The DNA aims to create a shared situation awareness, which help us operate strategically at the same level.
When it comes time to response, then there's a general agreement already. What are the main humanitarian needs? What's the main impacts? Where are the priorities? And makes it much easier to decide not only who does what, but also where you're going to allocate your own priorities.
It speeds up the process of understanding the impact that this situation has had, and it minimizes the energy that we have to use on actually going to the field and collecting data by directly observing what has happened.
But I think the other side effect here importantly is that there is one common scenario definition. So the humanitarian community work on a common platform.
A DNA is prepared from a remote location outside theater, so to speak. It's done in a couple of days. The timeliness of the product is extremely important. So we try to do them in between 2 and 3 days, and we have a small team of analysts working around the clock right after a sudden onset disaster, to pull together information and get the product out quickly.
Disaster needs analysis is based primarily on pre-crisis information, then second on in-crisis information, plus a set of lessons learned from past crises.
The DNA contains different elements. There's an overview of the situation, highlighting what the main issues are according to 3 dimensions: the geographical area and the number of people affected is the first one. Secondly, the most vulnerable groups in a given disaster. And thirdly, which sectors is most important. Is this a water and sanitation crisis? Is it a food crisis? What's the nature of the needs?
So that's the other nice thing about the DNA is that it's easy to find what you're looking for. Your specific, emergency managers, the sort of humanitarian directors, they're interested in the big picture, but you've got a lot of people that are just interested in specific pieces. So you go there, and what you're getting is what you need at a minimum. If you need more, then there are references that can easily take you where you want to get to.
You would like to perhaps decide where to go, where to focus, who are the most affected groups, which geographical area you should send your team first, which specific groups deserve assistance in the first place. So the DNA is here to answer to those specific questions.
If we're deploying people into the field, we give these as briefing materials so they get a big quick snapshot of them, where they're going.
So the Pakistan floods, also the same approach to try to guide the team in the first phase of the emergency to determine where they should do the initial assessments and where the coordination mechanism should be established.
The DNA has been really useful in both Bangladesh and the Horn of Africa in terms of deciding, okay, is it worth the investment of going to a joint needs assessment? And in both cases, it was clearly yes.